Outer Orange.
Welcome to my podium. I am Bermuda Triangle player 1169. I am here today to discuss with you the fall of Bermuda Triangle. Y'all ready for this? Yeah, that's exactly what I like to hear. You see all these people around me? We are here today as the Council of Bermuda Triangle. I got all these Bermuda Triangle players with me today. We have just recently had a crazy thing happen, absolutely out of this world. We got this right here. You see this to the right? That's right, Rosa got banned. So today we are going to discuss what to do next as Bermuda Triangle players. Prism is gone. How in the world do we continue on as a Bermuda Triangle clan? What do we do, Bermuda Triangle people? What do we do? So we look at our decks and we go, wow, there's this thing called Orange in it, right? So like maybe, just maybe, we can just take that deck and then just make it its own deck and try topping with that. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let's go. Let's go. Yeah! Woo! So today, as Bermuda Triangle player 1169, I declare that all Bermuda Triangle players have been playing Prism decks. Just take out all your stuff. Take out everything you thought you knew about Bermuda Triangle. Make it into an Orange deck and go to BRO and win BRO. Okay, Bermuda Triangle players, go do that. Go do exactly that. And alas, we have the results. That's what happened. We got the results. Here they are. All these Orange players. They came out of nowhere. They just decided, hey, I'm going to top. So let's discuss Orange. Let's talk about Q-Tire real quick. How it's affecting the format. Why is Orange topping? Or in some cases, like, what is happening? So to kind of put it into perspective, Orange has always been like a good deck. It's never been a bad deck to begin with. It just kind of bricked easier than Prism did. And that's still a fact to this day, by the way. There has been a couple of generic cards that have kind of helped it a little bit, which is Syria and Nikita that have come out, which are literally the cards that just dropped. So Orange has always been a very generic pick to kind of just take and like try to win with, essentially. But she was always slower than what Prism was doing, because while Orange has a twin drive with like some bouncing, Prism had a triple drive with bouncing and drawing. Miss Megaphone. Keep in mind, Prism was I bounce anything type of deck, whereas Orange has always been restricted to normal units, and that can kind of sway. And that is something to kind of keep in mind. Orange is also a little bit slower, both in tempo and in progression. The best way to explain that is it takes time for it to ramp up, and while it can apply some pressure, it's not until there's about 2 to 3 to 4 force markers on the board where it really starts mattering, that or if you hit Pro Sisters. So honestly, if you do the same thing over and over again, the deck isn't doing too much. You need to either apply some early aggression prior to Rising to Grade 3, or you have to just either hit crits or hit the nuts like as soon as possible to apply pressure, because the deck is kind of slow sometimes. Like there has been games where I've played and I just don't do anything turn after turn after turn because I'm either not seeing the right pieces or I'm just stuck with a bunch of triggers in my hand. So it's something to keep in mind. The deck bricks faster than Prism does, is the best way to put it. Prism rarely bricks and Orange definitely bricks more. I personally believe that like the Q-Tire hit is probably necessary, but I don't want it affecting Highlander as a deck, is the best way to put it. If Q-Tire and Aqua get restricted, Highlander will probably no longer be a deck. Guys, keep in mind, so what we just saw is a meta that's about to change in like 3 weeks. And because Orange came out of nowhere, it kind of like almost shocked people, because they were like, oh my god, this deck's so busted, blah, blah, blah. While some people are arguing about the Q-Tire restriction, the LE restriction, Aqua, Weasel-Lot, whatever else restriction that people want to add on to Bermuda Triangle, the meta is about to shift in a couple weeks, and I don't even think if these bans are gonna matter, is the best way to put it. It's kind of weird to want to ban something right now when the meta already shifted once, like literally a week ago when we just got the ban list officially came. The ban list officially started like a little less than a week ago. So that being said, like we already had like that happen, right? So that happened, and we are literally about to get an entire big meta change. And like, yeah, like, but it's going to change. And honestly, again, I brought this up before, and I'm gonna stick to this point probably until I'm proven wrong. I do not think Orange is as big of an issue as people think it is. I think Orange is strong, but I think she's on the same power level as the current decks that are already currently topping. So I think her power level to like say Aquaforce and Gurgit is similar, if not slightly worse. And going back to, let me look at the pie charts real quick. I think Vanquisher is another one, and Night Rose is another one. I honestly don't think Anj truly needs a touch. It's because everyone is talking about it. At worst, I think Q-Tire needs a restriction. That's it. That's like that's the worst I think that possibly needs to change. And that's not even like right now. It'll probably happen like in a couple, it'll probably happen if it even happens in like October or whenever the next ban list that's coming up, right? She just keeps showing up in problem decks. She does keep showing up in problem decks. So if September, thank you. September will be the next one, right? So we still have some time, and I don't see a reason to touch Anj right now, personally. With the meta shifting once again, Anj might not even be a relevant deck anymore. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. There's a lot of aggressive grade 3 going first decks that'll be coming out. One of them is 7Cs, by the way. We have a couple other ones on this spectrum as well. Those decks should be easily able to knock out Anj before Anj can do anything. Something to keep in mind, Anj Highlander is an aggressive late game deck. It is not an early game deck by any means. It has a similar problem to what Gurgit does. Gurgit is also a turn 2 grade 3 deck. And we've talked about this before in the past. Like, I brought this up like in Discord and stuff like that, like in my Discord primarily, but we've talked about this before. Steam Maidens is coming. Steam Maidens is a pretty aggressive deck. Some people have been mentioning how it might break a little bit more because of, you know, having more grade 4s and all of that kind of stuff, but it doesn't change the fact that Steam Maidens is actually going to be a really relevant deck. But long story short, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Take a look at inside the pie charts if you get a chance. I think who is it? I think Fuzzy actually has a pie chart. Ah, very interesting. So primary, I mean, this only secures my point even more. Whoops, wrong screen. But this only solidifies my point even more. If anything, it proves what I'm saying, even more so. So here we have the Divenga Sai, and yeah, no Anj. And Prism is indeed legal. Yes, I'm not sure. I'm seeing once again as a reminder that this event was JP. So this is JP format. So yes, Prism is legal in this event. Prism is 100% free. Yeah, so here we have the Great Nature Dragon, and then here we have Steam Maidens, 2 versions of Narukami, Leopold, and we have Gold Paladin. So yeah, and not a single Bermuda Triangle, by the way, and yeah. So that being said, now granted this might change in a week. The thing about it is I don't think people know about, so Anj is one of those things where it was like either a word of mouth thing or people that were just playing Prism switched over to Anj. Keep in mind, Prism isn't very popular in JP to begin with. Like they already haven't been playing Prism. They prefer Melody over there. I do think that something to keep in mind that even though these results don't show Anj or any Bermuda Triangle for that matter, I can see in the future there being some results. So that's my personal opinion, but this is a good representation of something just to kind of keep in mind. Like, obviously, I don't know if this is how the meta will stay. I can see maybe 2 other decks kind of showing up with this, and that's definitely Aquaforce, and maybe even, I don't know, Vanquisher is on here. So Aquaforce and maybe a Bermuda Triangle, to be honest. Yeah, so that being said, I think this represents, and I probably should have started with this. I kind of went a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, Sunday like really triggered me, not in like a type of way, but I was so fed up of seeing what was going on and the big discussions about Bermuda Triangle that I literally had to take like a day away from it. And even when I was thinking about streaming today, I was kind of thinking to myself, how do I want to approach this subject without hurting people's feelings? Because personally, this is a very touchy subject right now, is like Bermuda Triangle. So ban Q-Tire if you must, or restrict or whatever. I don't think it needs a touchy-watchy at all. I don't think Anj is as great as people think it is. It's not bad. The results are showing, I'm aware, but I think the other decks are just as good as it. So that's pretty much what I have to say. Enjoy Anj while you can until a potential restriction happens, if it even does. But just keep in mind the other decks are also good, and if we want to touch something in Bermuda Triangle, we should also touch something in Gold Paladin. Just saying. I just want to make that clear. Do not forget how much, in my opinion, and I guess that's my opinion, but don't forget the deck that was originally being discussed for a very obvious reason. People weren't just talking about it for no reason. The deck was insane. The Gurgit is a problem. Don't forget about Percy. Don't let the gold boys stay golden. I mean, the gold boys can stay golden and they'll be fine without Percy, but just don't forget about little Percival. Because once Percival gets touched, then I can see Ange showing even more results, personally. That's my personal opinion. The reason being is because I actually think Ange is worse than Aquaforce and Percival combined. That's just how it is. I think that needs to get addressed first before anything else, because that has been a problem for years now. Ange is just showing up now. We have had a Percival issue for a while. Rather, it's been banned, it's been unbanned, doesn't even matter anymore. These conversations are getting old. I'm not gonna lie. Some of these conversations are getting old. It's kind of like the OT subject all over again. Like, it's kind of, how many times can we talk about the same subject over and over again? Boy, guys. Boy. Boy.